I'm Dr. Amy Sapola, Director of Pharmacy with an F at the Chef's Garden. Today I am making pot pie, and this is going to be a root vegetable pot pie with lots of different root vegetables. We have colorful potatoes, turnips, celery root, carrots, and you can just see all of the beautiful colors. I am making this gluten-free. So buckwheat flour for the roux, and on top is going to be polenta grits, or like a cornmeal grit. And that will be the top layer instead of the usual flaky like pastry crust. So I went ahead and cut these and roasted them ahead of time. You'll notice they're fairly evenly chopped. In order to get an even roast on the vegetables, you want to cut them about the same size. So I did my best to try to cut them about the same size, roasted them at about 450 degrees for maybe like 20 to 30 minutes. I tossed them with olive oil and a little salt prior to roasting as well. All right, and now we're gonna head to the stove. Okay, so first I'm gonna cook some leeks. You could use onions here as well. I have maybe half a cup to a cup of leeks. I'm gonna use a little bit of butter, maybe just about a tablespoon. And this is where we're gonna make our roux. All right, so I'm gonna put in about 6 tablespoons of butter here. Actually about 5. You can certainly use vegan butter here. That's another great option. I'm going to use about 6 tablespoons, and I'll just kind of whisk it as I go. So buckwheat, although it has the name wheat in it, actually is gluten-free. It is actually like the flower of the buckwheat plant that's used. And so buckwheat is good for replacing wheat flour, other than it doesn't really get the, it doesn't hold together necessarily like wheat flour, but it is good for thickening in cases like this where you're making a roux. So it also really has great flavor, and it's kind of the seed more than the flour actually of buckwheat that they're using to make the flour. Now on the back burner here, I have our kind of like root veggie stock, and I've been adding in root veggies as we go, just the peels and the tops with a little water and salt, and just cooking this on the back stove. So this is already warm. I'm just gonna try to grab just the liquid part. I'm gonna add that in. It should break back up into a really nice creamy sauce. So I've added about 3 scoops of broth so far. I'll probably add another couple just till it gets a nice consistency. All right, so our roux is coming together really nicely into this creamy sauce that's gonna make our chicken pot pie or chickenless pot pie. And you can see it's a really nice shiny sauce. And our leeks are starting to brown over here, so I'll give those a stir as well. Ooh, they're getting nice color. So our leeks are nice and golden. To this pot, I'm now going to add our root vegetables. It's like a rainbow pot pie. If you can see the potatoes and the celery root and the carrots and those leeks in there, it's really beautiful. So this just comes together and gets warm. And then I'll go ahead and add our sauce right on here. You can see the root vegetables can get really creamy and delicious. We'll let this cook for just another couple of minutes. This is a great time to add herbs. So I would add, like to this, I'd like to add some sage. We also have some thyme, which thyme in pot pie is essential. So I'm gonna just throw in some thyme. I have a little bit of dried rosemary here, so I'll go ahead and throw that in. And I just crumble it up. You can also add in some garlic. I have 1 clove here. Ooh, 1 clove here that I'll just press. And if you can, think of it, crush your garlic ahead of time. And that has more allicin, which can help with blood pressure as well. And herbs are great in cooking. They're so full of antioxidants and flavor. They really add a nice color boost as well. All right, so we have our sage. And then I've already prepared our topping, which is, again, essentially corn grits. And I use stock to make the grits. So it's basically, I use butter and then I put in the grits and kind of toast them a little bit. Then I start just ladling in stock until you reach the right consistency. It takes maybe 20 minutes or so. I also added salt and pepper to taste and a little bit of garlic into the grits. All right, so now that this is nice and warm and bubbly, I can cut the gas on this. I was cooking it on medium. So you can see this is what it looks like. It's creamy and colorful. So we'll get this nice and smooth and we'll add our grits on top. Before I do that, I'm going to turn my oven on broil so that we can get those grits nice and brown. And I just put it on high. This is going to go into the oven uncovered. Be careful because that's going to be warm. All right, so this is on broil. I'm going to put it in the oven uncovered just to get the top nice and toasty. I can hear it crackling in here and it smells and sounds so good. It looks perfect. It's nice and brown on top. You can see that the corn grits got browned and really colorful. And if you could be here to smell it, oh my gosh, it smells so good. Once this cools down a little, I'm going to add some microgreens on top. And the microgreens, this is the superfood blend. And the superfood blend has a number of different microgreens in it that are high on the CDC's powerhouse list of vegetables. Bull's blood, parsley, arugula, chives, mustard greens, so many great superfoods. So I'm just gonna roughly dice through these just to break them up into a little bit smaller pieces and to cut the chives. Thank you so much for joining me at home today. If you'd like to find this recipe and many more, please visit our website at farmerjonesfarm.com, or you can check us out on YouTube.